Shocked, overjoyed, ecstatic, those are just a few of the words people were using this week to describe what it was like to marry their partner of 5 years, 10 years, 20+ years. When Judge Young handed down his ruling this week, it was a bit of chaos as same-sex couples across the state rushed to their county clerk's office to get married. In some cases, clerks didn't know if the ruling applied to their county and they turned people away. But hundreds of couples across the state have exchanged vows. Gretchen Frazee has more.
Consider your own wedding. Maybe months of planning, choosing a dress, picking out rings, flowers, a caterer, and then compare that to the scene across the state Wednesday. Hundreds of couples took their lunch hour to rush to their county clerk's office and get married.
Jake texted me and said, "Do you want to get married?" And I thought he was joking, and I hadn't heard the news yet.
Jake Miller and his partner Craig Bowen were the first to get married in Marion County. There were no rings, there wasn't a lavish ceremony.
We've been talking for a very long time about getting married, so we said we were going to wait until it was legal in Indiana, and then when it was, we didn't wait a second.
The Marion County Clerk's office stayed open late Wednesday to accommodate all the couples who waited in line to exchange their vows.
We talked about going to New York, thought about Illinois, disappointed we couldn't have family and friends with us, but we've talked a lot about how we would do that anyway, having a party, something like that when we got back, so we kind of solved that today.
A mutual friend introduced Bart Peterson and Pete McNamara more than 2 decades ago. They hoped this day would come, but they didn't think it would happen this soon.
Bart, with this ring, I make you my husband. It will be a sign of my love and fidelity.
We're just married all of a sudden. We don't even know what to think.
We have no idea what's next. Hour and a half ago we were in meetings and you were at lunch, and now we're here and married.
It was the same thing for Sarah Perfetti and Abby Hinkle in Bloomington. They were both at work when Sarah got an AP alert on her phone. They could get married.
So we're like, well, I guess if we go, maybe it'll work out. And we were the second ones to get here.
When Reverend Marianne Macklin heard the news, she wrapped up the meeting she was in at her church and rushed to the clerk's office.
Right now I'm standing here for every couple who comes out here and wants to get married.
Reverend Macklin married about a dozen couples Wednesday on the courthouse steps.
This feels like part of a moment, I feel like. I mean, in addition to just like being married like 2 minutes from our house, it just feels like we're part of something big and people are coming, everyone's so excited. Other gay couples are getting married today and it just feels like, I don't know, I can't describe it. It's beautiful.
In a couple of months, Hinkle and Perfetti will have a big wedding with more than 275 invited guests.
And our plan was to have our legal wedding with just our immediate family in Chicago a couple days before that. But we've always wanted to be married in Indiana. I mean, this is our dream.
But more than 24 counties did not immediately begin issuing marriage licenses. The reasons ran the gamut. Some opposed the ruling on moral grounds. Others weren't sure whether the ruling applied to their county, so clerks opted to wait until they received guidance from the Attorney General's office.
We were waiting for direction because, yes, we received news media that this law had been changed. However, we didn't receive direction from anybody else.
Late Wednesday, the Attorney General's office sent a letter to the county clerks. It read, "For those county clerks that were named, Hamilton, Allen, Boone, Porter, Lake, in the cases ruled upon today, please be aware that you must comply with the court's ruling or be subject to contempt of court. Other county clerks are not under the direct jurisdiction of the court order, but as an officer of the court, we must encourage everyone to show respect for the judge and the orders that are issued." But even as offices around the state reopened for business Thursday morning, not all were issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Nearly 24 hours after the ruling and multiple denials for licenses from the clerk, gay couples and supporters in Bartholomew County arranged a protest at the courthouse.
Yesterday, it was devastating. It was, you know, we came here not expecting her to say no, which may have been naive. But once we got over that, we became full of determination, and we just wanted to come down here in support of the other couples who are also wanting to get married and see if we can't change her mind.
Eventually, a county judge arrived at the courthouse with an order mandating clerk Tammy Hines and her office begin issuing marriage licenses.
My concern with the software that the state of Indiana has for us to use has a man and a woman, And so there were some concerns about the legalities of us altering that document.
But after receiving the order, Hines said her last concern was met, and her office began issuing licenses.
And Attorney General Greg Zeller's office is assuring clerks they will receive notification as soon as his office hears whether his request for a stay has been granted. While weddings, as we just saw, can take place in courthouses instead of churches, and ceremonies can be performed by a county official instead of a minister, marriage is often tied to religion, and the judge's recent ruling will likely have an impact on many churches. To talk with us more about the religious and societal implications of these same-sex marriages, we're joined by Greg Wallace. He's the director of Hope and New Life Ministries in Beech Grove. Thanks for being here with us today, Greg. We appreciate it. So if you could just begin by talking about what are your primary concerns if same-sex marriages are allowed to continue?
In terms of their impact on the church, my concern would be that as the government continues to foist itself in having an impact on this issue, it will continue to force the church in a direction that is unbiblical and in a way that it doesn't want to go, that it shouldn't have to go. And what will happen is that we will see the government begin to impose its own authority on what the church really is already free to do, and that is to decide for itself, to move in a biblical direction in how marriage should be defined.
Now, the head of the American Family Association, Micah Clark, says that we need to maintain the traditional definition of marriage between one man and one woman because that institution is based on history, and we have some tape from him.
Marriage is something that has always been recognized as the union of men and women for the best interests of children, and we hope that the courts will recognize that states have an interest in what marriage is and what marriage is not, and if it's a free-for-all or an unraveling to what anybody desires it to be, or if it's what we've always understood is an institution that serves the best interests of society through the unique needs and the unique differences between men and women, both of which are important to society.
There are a lot of people who hold that view. And do you think if these same-sex marriages are allowed to continue to go forward, do you think our view of people's role in society will change?
I don't think they'll change in terms of society per se, because society is always in flux. And I don't think we can say, well, because of this, that will happen. I think we can just kind of suck it in, tough it out, and hope for the best when it comes right down to it. But I think the concern that we hold as Christians, and Micah Clark is a longtime friend of mine. I just have all the respect in the world for him. And I talked to him before he even came down to do this. But I think the concern that we have, insofar as the church is involved, again, is that the church will lose its authority to define how this issue has an impact on the family, and in turn how the church can have an impact on a lost and on a fallen culture.
Okay, well, we appreciate you so much for coming on. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thanks for adding your perspective.
Thank you.